break it down, give you the scoop. Hold on tight, this ain't no ordinary loop. UFC's the battleground where warriors collide. Die Hard MMA podcast, we won't hide. Clint's gonna get deep, analyze each brawl from the underdogs to the champions standing tall. The fury, let your instincts rise. Feel the adrenaline rush, it's time to defy. Die Hard MMA, we're in for the thrill. Get ready for the madness. Let's make that bankroll spill.
Ladies and gentlemen, diehards, degenerates of all ages, welcome back to the Undefeated post-weigh-in show, UFC 326 edition. It is a late night stream, but we are here for the most important, nay, the best gambling show of your week. We broke down every single fight on this card. We brought in an awesome guest, someone who is much smarter than myself. We talk about every single fight on the board. We know the matchups. We've got the X's. We've got the O's. We do our Instagram stalking throughout the week. We make sure to watch the weigh-ins and the face-offs. We see who wins the mental battle in the exchanges. We DM'd with all the boys, and we talked about the angles, and then we bring all of that right here on this show with some good vibes, and we just sprinkle the vibes over the top of it, and it explodes. It's like creating the Powerpuff Girls. We are undefeated on this show. We make the best decisions. We have all the information, and we lock in bets. That's why this show is undefeated. Never a bad read, never a bad bet. Not on this show right here. Welcome into the chat, everybody. How are we doing? And of course, it is your show on this episode, you guys. The Friday show is always the chat's show. So we've got you guys up right here. You can see your comments coming up on screen, each and every one of you. I hope you're all having a glorious Friday evening. I'm excited. It's been a good day. Looking forward to the weekend. And yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk some fights. First fight of the evening, kicking off the action. Oh. We lost one. Got to start with the facts. We lost one. I'm sorry, you guys. Zhang Young Lee is off the card. Gaston Bolanos weighed in at 145 pounds. And it's just really disappointing, man, because Zhang Young Lee, I really thought we had something, right? These road to UFC guys, not many of them are really panning out very well. I thought Zhang Young Lee might be the one. And he hasn't done very well so far. And the UFC is just kind of throwing him a little softball here. It's like, you know, this guy isn't really UFC level. He's naturally a weight class below you. We're putting you on a pay-per-view card. And I know. They're not pay-per-view cards anymore, but what do we call them? Numbered events. Doesn't sound nearly as good as pay-per-view cards. So they're just always pay-per-views to me. Somebody give me something else to call them. But I'm highly disappointed because Zhang Young Lee blows his weight cut. So it's not happening. That card's off the table. Or that fight is off the table, unfortunately. So we're down one right out the gates. Your first fight of the evening, Luke Fernandez, UFC newcomer. He takes on Rodolfo Balato. Sorry, there's way too many of these Brazilian H names that I got to jump in here recently, right? As you guys can see, Balato is a big, big boy. Luke Fernandez, UFC newcomer. Guys, I really like the skill set of Luke Fernandez. He's a very strong grappler. He's very physical as an individual. His striking could use a little bit of work. You know, him being not the physically imposing man here does worry me just a little bit. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Balato's chin is a massive question mark. We've seen that throughout his entire UFC career. His chin is something that can be had. People tag him left and right. He almost got knocked out by Ihor Potieria. In fact, that fight, I mean, you could argue that it should have potentially been stopped. He was dead on arrival, somehow limps to the stool, and then turns it around the deeper that fight goes. So his chin is a giant question mark, but it's these guys that know how to strike. Jimmy Crute knows how to strike. Navajo Sterling can strike. Ihor Potieria can strike. Fernandez is a grappler. Fernandez is a wrestler. He's 30 years old, and don't get me wrong, he's got big power in his hands. He does have 5 wins. 5 of his 6 wins are by knockout, but it's not usually like standing on the feet like crazy, rip you with a Alex Pereira hook type of knockouts, right? This guy likes to grind on people. He gets to tire them out, takes them down, roughs them up against the fence, that kind of thing. So I think Luke Fernandez is going to knock out Rodolfo Balato, you guys. I really do. I like his money line. I kind of like the over 1.5, though, because Balato is probably going to be fully aware that he needs to protect his chin coming into this one and knows he's going to be facing a grappler, not a striker. That might free him up a little bit. You know, he might feel a little more comfortable moving around the cage and being able to do what he does. Let's also not forget that Luke Fernandez is making his UFC debut. So there's going to be the jitters, you know, big time under the show. He still only has 6 fights under his belt, you guys. And that is something that I think we do kind of overlook to a certain extent, is even though I like Luke Fernandez's background, even though I like his skill set, he's got some high level grappling stuff going on, especially with UFC caliber guys. He does have a longer amateur record. So this is the kind of guy that I'm like, you know what, it's only 6 fights, but he's probably okay. You still just have to take that into account because he is taking on a guy that's got 16 professional fights. And that experience is something that is very, very difficult to make up. I think Luke Fernandez has got what it takes. I think he's got the experience. I think he's got the power. I think he's got the wrestling ability. I do expect him to win this fight. I like the KO prop. It has gone down a little bit, which you guys know, that's my giant red flag in these situations, is that the KO prop has gone down a little bit. The decision prop has my attention. The over 1.5 has my attention. I think Luke Fernandez might struggle just a little bit making it to the big show here. He's not going to, I say not, but I don't think he's going to ice Rodolfo Balato in the very first round. I've got a hard time seeing that happen. So I'm picking Luke Fernandez. Maybe that plus 400 decision prop is a little juicy. This also might be a butthole puckery over 1.5 to start our evening, you guys, because seriously, these Balato fights, he just manages to go long, right? Even if he should have died in the first round, somehow he manages to catch that second wind and not go out cold. We have seen that a couple times already. Facing a guy who's a grappler, not a striker, I think maybe that's the kind of guy we can count on to drag this fight out a little bit further. I think I'm liking over 1.5 on this one. Welcome into the show, everybody. We already got over 120 of you live. I got a little too excited to get into the fight, so shout out each and every one of you. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart for being here, but there's way too many names at this point for me to go back and try to catch up to you guys. So you guys are awesome. If you're new here, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We do this every single week. We broke down every single fight on this card in depth on Monday. We will be doing that again live on Monday this week. I do a total show. I do a props show. And on these big numbered events, sometimes I get one of my bookie buddies, you know, the people that let me, make my decisions. And I'm just kidding. They don't control me. Everyone thinks they do. It's a joke. I get one of my guys, one of my contacts from the industry, and we go over the sharp action. People making big bets, respected bets, public action. It's informational. That stream is on the show for you here as well this week. All right, everybody, let's get in here. Kyle, congratulations on your Bills Mafia. I saw you guys picked up DJ Moore. I think, you guys needed some help there at wide receiver. So congratulations on that. Mini Moose knows what's up. Skull, let's go. Vikings are going to turn the ship around this year. It's costing us an arm and a leg to do it, but we're going to do it. We're going to have a much, much better year this year. I hope, I pray. We might end up with Kyler Murray. It is what it is. All right, guys. Second fight on the board. We've got Rafael Tobias, and he's taking on Dair Nurgai. Rafael Tobias came in at 204 pounds. Dair Nurgai, 205 and a half. And I got to say, there's a couple of rules when it comes to betting mixed martial arts, you guys. And if you don't know anything about the fight, if you know nothing about the fight, if one of the guys sounds Russian, that's the guy you bet. If one of the guys got a bigger beard, that's the guy you bet. Body hair goes a long way when it comes to professional fist fights. The final thing is face tattoos. Look at the dragon on the side of this guy's head. That is one of the coolest tattoos. I'm not big for face tattoos, you guys. I don't have a tattoo. I've wanted a tattoo my entire life, and I've just never quite gotten around to clicking when it comes to picking one that I'm going to put on my body permanently. That's a sick tattoo. It wouldn't work on a guy like me, but that's a sick tattoo. Rafael Tobias is a minus 180 favorite. Dair Nurgai is the plus 150 underdog. This fight actually sets up a lot like the last fight. Difference being here, you can see Tobias is kind of a physical monster. He's going to have a height and reach advantage here over Dair. Look at the back. When I talk about grapplers, you guys, it's always about the back. Look at how broad this guy is. He's much thicker than Dair Nurgai. Now, the big thing with this fight is Nurgai is a white belt minus on the ground. He's been submitted twice so far in the UFC, guys, both of them coming embarrassingly. Brinson Haberio, a guy who should be like an 0-3 and booted from the UFC, that guy caught him in a Kimura from bottom, reversed him on top, and then finished the submission. By the way, one of my personal favorite submissions. I used to hit that shit in the gym all the time. I'm a blue belt, you guys. I am a blue belt who hasn't trained in 10 plus years. Okay. So I used to hit that on white and blue belts, or I was not hitting that on brown belts and black belts and purple belts. They don't get submitted by that shit. So this guy should not have ever gotten tapped from that situation. And then just to hammer it home that he has no idea what he's doing, he got Ezekiel choked in his next fight from guard. Like, it's a choke you shouldn't get hit with at this level to begin with. And if you're gonna get hit with it, you can never get hit with it from your guard. It's embarrassing how bad this guy is as a grappler. So I understand Dair Nurgai is the better striker, but we have seen not one, but two guys absolutely fleece him on the mat. And one of those guys is absolutely not UFC caliber. I have seen Rafael Tobias get his head bopped around the cage. I have seen this guy eat punches for breakfast. He's 22 years old, and he's a Brazilian meathead. He wants to come forward. He doesn't move his head. He wants to chop you down Charles Oliveira style and then take your head off. Now, the thing is, he's a very good grappler. He is a BJJ brown belt. Guys, this is an IQ test. The UFC is giving him a man who he can take down and submit whenever he wants to. The fact that he is the larger human being in the cage only cements that for me, right? That's the thing that I'm like, look, he already has everything he needs to win this fight. He's also the bigger, musclier man. Yeah, he should be winning this one. And he should be winning this fight by submission. The only problem, there's those fighters that you can trust, and there's those fighters that you can't. And a piss hot and vinegar 22-year-old kid from Brazil with a dragon tattoo on the side of his head, I'm not so sure that's the guy you can trust to follow a game plan. I've seen him go out there and sling big leather with people and not really learn his lesson before. I worry about the IQ. I worry about the durability. Can he win by knockout? Yes, he can. Can he win this fight by decision? It's going to be tough sledding, but maybe so. He absolutely can win the fight by submission, but if he wants to go out there and make a big old statement for his first time in the UFC, he may not grapple, you guys. And that's what my biggest fear about this fight is. I think if you're betting him, take him inside the distance. It cuts that money line down from minus 180 to, minus 115 or so. Don't play just the KO if you're going that way. You want to have the sub in there just in case. I could see him goofing around on the feet, getting clipped once or twice, going, oh, shit. And then realizing, oh, I should have grappled this whole time. Similarly, maybe they did their homework. And if he comes out and he wrestles straight out the gate, he probably wins this fight via round 1 sub. So he should win this fight by sub. It's just a matter of whether or not he's actually going to do that. And I can't answer that question for you at this point, you guys. So it's an unfortunate situation. I got to pick the kid. But I don't love it, right? This is the kind of prospect that I have a hard time with when they come to the UFC, mostly because of that fight IQ issue. Kyle saying doesn't go is probably a sharp play for that one. I mean, yeah, probably. That I have a hard time seeing that fight going the distance, but with these newcomer guys, you just never know. We've seen crazier stuff. What is up, Steph? Nice to see you. Dim in the house as well. What is going on, everybody? Hit that like button for me, you guys. We're already climbing up there. We got 168 of you across all platforms. Let's crush this bad boy. Next fight up, you got Sumajiri, and he's taking on Jesus Aguilar. 126 for Su, 125.5 for Jesus. And as you can see, the height difference is astronomical. He is so much taller than Jesus Aguilar. This is the one that kind of haunts me a little bit, you guys, because I'm a never Su guy. I don't like Sumajiri. The fact that he has zero grappling, much like the last guy we talked about, that concerns me, right? He's been submitted 6 times. We talk about Achilles' heels. We talk about weaknesses. This guy has been submitted 6 times in his professional career. It's absolute insanity. So now you're telling me you got this guy that is an incredible striker. He's super long, he's super rangy, he knows what he's doing on the feet, but he's got just this giant hole in his game, and we're gonna make that guy a big favorite, a minus 220 favorite. I can't. I hate it. Now, I'm going to piss off Steph in the chat here. Steph says, Clint, I'm tired of this Jesus disrespect. He's a legit UFC fighter, and fading him, especially at plus money, has not been profitable. Here's the thing. The disrespect for me is probably something you're just going to have to work with. But I do completely understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. He's 29 years old, right? So he's just getting started. His UFC debut lost to Tatsuro Taira. What do you expect from the kid? But he rattles off 2 wins back-to-back in his next couple of fights, both at even money price tags. He wins as a plus 185 against Stuart Nickel in his next fight. He loses to Rafael Esteban in maybe the most boring UFC fight there's ever been. And then he wins as a dog again, plus 165 against Luis Grule, you guys. So what my boy Steph is saying, or I'm so sorry, Steph, that could be girl as well. What my homie Steph is saying is absolutely correct. Jesus Aguilar is underrated. He is well-rounded, and he finds ways to win. He's one of these guys who is tough. He is durable. He is game. He has heart. You could find a worse underdog. He's plus 180. I don't like the plus 180 in this spot, though, because I've got a real hard time seeing him win this fight by decision. He's not a knockout artist, guys. He has pillow fists. He's not going to hurt you with his hands. That's just the reality of the situation. On top of that, he's got this dramatic height and reach disadvantage against Su, so he's probably going to have a really hard time closing that gap. He's not a very good wrestler. This guy pulls guard. That's what he does. He pulls guard. So that's how he gets to his subs. And on top of that, Su has been working really hard on his grappling. He's out at Team Alpha Male, so he's working really hard with like Song Yudong out there, getting ready and prepared for this kind of a fight. So I've got to side on the improvements. I've got to look at Sumajiri in this spot just because it really kind of narrowly comes down to Aguilar by sub, which is plus 400. I don't know if that's enough meat on the bone for me when you're getting a guy who's probably not going to wrestle with you. I don't expect Sumajiri to be hitting takedowns, so it's hard to click a sub prop when it's like, well, if Su plays this fight right, we're standing for 15 minutes against a guy who doesn't have that much power in his hands. So why would he be threatened? Why, if he's not getting taken down, why would he ever choose to go to the mat himself? He's not being threatened on the feet. This guy just went to a decision with Boras. He went to a decision with Mitch Raposo. He went to a decision with Charles Johnson. That's the one that I thought Charles Johnson was going to sub Su easily, very easily. I thought he was going to get him down and choke him out. We're seeing the improvements. I've got to pick Su, you guys. I hate it. He's an untrustworthy favorite. He is treacherous chalk, but I think he's going to beat Jesus in this spot. And Steph, I'm so sorry. I know. One of these days I will respect your boy. But it's not today. It's not gonna be today, unfortunately. Next fight up, we have got Cody, and that's the start of a trend here. Cody Durden taking on Naiman Jargal Tumandembarel. 125.5 for Cody Durden, 125.5 for Naiman Jargal in the spot as well. A legitimate Mongolian. Look at the hat, you guys. He's got the cool hat equity coming into this fight. He is worth more than your average fighter because he's wearing a dead animal on his head. I don't make the rules. That's just how it works, okay? Cody Durden, 17-9 and 1, 34 years old. He told everybody. He called up the UFC brass and he said, it doesn't matter how many times I lose. I'm going to be the new Kevin Holland for you guys. Call me whenever you want me. Call me when you need a guy. I will fill in. No problem. And that's what he's done. And he's gotten his ass whooped. He's getting rocked in every fight. He's been submitted 6 times. He's 1-4 in his last 5. He got knocked out by Bruno Silva after basically whooping his ass for the first 6 minutes of that fight. He got beaten to death by Josh Van. I don't know how he managed not to go down, but it cost him because in his next fight, Jose Ochoa put him out in the second round. And then Alan Nascimento is a monster. He's a beast. That guy's massive. Of course he submitted him. That was one of the easiest calls I've ever made in my life, Alan Nascimento in that spot. Worst case scenario matchup for Cody Durden. Now, here's the thing. At a certain point, where has the bar lowered to where it's enough? All right. Because Cody Durden has been fighting some of the best. Listen to the names we just rattled off. Most of these losses are coming in round 2. He's getting caught by Tagir Ulanbekov. He's getting caught by Bruno Silva. He's getting caught by Jose Ochoa. These are after very strong starts, all of these. So Cody Durden is going to win round 1. Is Naiman Jargal the kind of guy who can take that kind of a beating and then come back and win this fight in round 2 or round 3? He's 27 years old. Like I said, he's a legitimate Mongolian. He lost his UFC debut to Carlos Fernandez, which does not inspire much confidence. And now he's coming back after a win on road to UFC. Those guys suck. It doesn't mean shit to me. So I feel like this is Naiman Jargal round 2, round 3. This right here, you guys, circle it, is probably the best live bet spot on the board. That's how I got spored. Spot on the board. I fully expect Cody to come out and whoop this dude's ass for the first 5 minutes. He's going to get taken down. He's going to be cleaner. He's going to be faster. It only comes down to, can he keep it up? It only comes down to, will he be able to continue with that? Naiman Jargal has front chokes. He's got really long, lanky arms. That's a problem for Cody. Cody's durability is slipping. When he gets rocked, he knows one thing, and that's wrestle. So he's going to panic shoot for a takedown every time he gets hurt. I think Naiman Jargal is going to choke him out. I think Naiman Jargal is going to choke him out in the second or potentially in the third round as Cody starts to slow down a little bit. But watch live. Watch live. I don't want to bet this thing pre-flop. I've had some nibbles here telling me that the sharp side is Naiman Jargal. He's a minus 160 favorite right now over Cody Durden. I can almost guarantee you guys that you'll get a better number on that if you wait 3 minutes. I have a real hard time with seeing Naiman Jargal go out there and just one punch spark Cody Durden. I don't think that's going to happen. Now, he has done that before. He's got a 21-second guillotine. He's got a 7-second KO. He's got a 30-second KO. So that in itself is sketchy. He has done this multiple times in the past, but again, at a very, very, very low level of competition. I think he's not going to be able to do that in one punch against Cody Durden in this spot. So I would buy 2-3 minutes, let him get taken down once or twice, and then jump in on the live line for Naiman Jargal. The other option, bet violence. Because you guys, if Cody Durden does win this fight, it's probably because Naiman Jargal doesn't belong at this level. It's probably because he completely exposes this kid for not being UFC quality. And if that happens, we saw Cody Durden choke out Matt Schnell. Now, Matt Schnell may be at the end of his run. Matt Schnell may have no chin at this point, but that is a serious win. There's not many people on planet Earth who can submit Matt Schnell rocked or not. So we've got to give him the props that are due for being able to just pull that off. I think Cody can submit Naiman Jargal after out hustling him if he's in the driver's seat for 12 minutes. Either way, I think this fight finishes. So fight doesn't go the distance. Minus 235. I think it's an okay piece if you want to do like a two-legger. If you want to do a two-leg parlay or something like that, I think fight doesn't go the distance is probably an okay way to go. The under 2.5 is like minus 165. So there's a big price gap between those two. If you want to be a sharp, savvy bettor, you can probably just lay the minus 165 for the under 2.5. But I'm a square, you guys. Those final 2 minutes, they do scare me a little bit. And I probably would lean towards doing fight doesn't go the distance, especially in case there's some kind of a late scramble, some kind of a late sub, some kind of getting caught late in the fight. That kind of shit happens. And I have been burned by it before. So I probably will look towards buying those extra couple of minutes and going from there. All right, let's keep it rocking right here. Locked in. Let's go. Next fight up, Ricky Tersios takes on Alberto Montes. 146 for Sticky Ricky, 145.5 for Alberto Montes. Why they didn't give me a close-up on this one, I have no idea. They size up pretty well, you guys. They size up pretty well. Neither guy had a hard time on the scales. It didn't seem like Alberto is ripped, you guys. Alberto is jacked. This guy looks a lot, physically speaking, his body kind of reminds me of Ilia Topuria. He's got the same body type, that same chiseled chest shelf, and then he's got a big wide back on him. He looks very thick, very muscly. Now, Ricky Tersios is actually moving up a weight class here from 135. So, guys, I don't like Ricky. I've made no bones about it. I'm not a big fan of Ricky. I don't like how little damage he does. I don't like how little finishing upside he has at the UFC level, right? All he's done is get beat and then go to split decisions. That's literally his entire UFC career. He's a whole lot of empty volume, a whole lot of striking at space, and he knows how to scramble. He's pretty good at that. He's got good cardio. He's pretty good at that. He's not a great counter wrestler. He can be taken down, right? But now he's up a weight class. So is he going to be stronger because he bulked up? Is he going to be at a disadvantage now because he's at a higher weight class and he's just not cutting as much weight? So he's losing the advantage he had. He didn't have power at 135. He's sure as hell not going to have power at 145. You know what I mean? I think this is a fight he could potentially lose. And one of the things that really worries me about Montes is he is savvy on the mat. This guy can scramble. He's got like anaconda chokes and stuff like that. He's a very good submission grappler. I could see that being the path to victory here. Minus 180 for Alberto. It's, you guys, this undercard, it's volatile as hell. All these guys are the same story. The newcomer is between minus 180 and minus 220. You got to chalk up for the new guy. And the veteran is the one who is the underdog. Usually I want to bet on savvy underdogs at plus money, but none of these guys are trustworthy. Ricky Tersios is very difficult to call, in my opinion, because you could have him spamming this guy on the feet, putting up 200 strikes and getting a split decision win, or he could get taken down and submitted in the second round. Like, I have no idea what to expect from this guy at this point. This is a fight that I have zero interest in from a betting perspective. Now, if you want to look at, maybe some of the options and stuff like that for you, I do think that the Alberto Montes submission prop, like I mentioned before, I think that's very live. The guy has very good chokes. The guy is very scrambly on the mat. And because Ricky Tersios is kind of physically weak, I think that could be a path to victory. So plus 250 for the sub prop, that I don't mind. I don't mind turning a minus 180 into a plus 250, trying to take a shot on something like that. So that's maybe the only way I would really look here. But my gut kind of says that this thing goes to a closely contested decision and it ends up kind of flying over. You know what I mean? I have a feeling that's the way it's going to go. I don't like it. I think that's going to be worst case scenario, very boring. But I kind of think that's the way it's going to happen. All right, next up, and again, they're messing with me here on these camera angles. What are you doing, UFC? We've got the return of Cody Brundage, another Cody for us to talk about here. He takes on Dante Johnson, 185.5 for both of these men, and Dante Johnson is a big hulking dude. He's got an absolutely massive back. I try to always get the side shot of the weigh-in for you guys, because this one, it's always misleading when it's like this, when it's angled, when it's over the shoulder, like Resident Evil third-person shooter type of camera work. It always bias you towards whoever the camera's closest to. They look bigger, so I always try to get that perfect side shot for you guys. It's not here on this one. Cody's looking a little soft, you guys. Now, he's taking this fight on short notice. I feel like this is his, gun to his head. They're like, hey, if you don't take this fight, we're booting you from the organization. I really feel like he's held hostage in this spot. So he had to take the fight. Otherwise, they're going to dump him. He's taken on a guy in Dante Johnson, who we know from Spectation Sports, which, by the way, you guys, Spectation Sports has a card tomorrow as well. So if you've got more hankering for MMA action, make sure you guys check out Fusion Fight League. It's an awesome card. Promo code DIEHARD will get you 20% off when you sign up on Spectation Sports. Link in the description below. Lockjaw came from those organizations. So we are rooting for him from that perspective here. But he's a minus 900 favorite. So there's little options for us when it comes to gambling here on this one. The total set at 1.5. The over 1.5 is plus 145. The under 1.5 is like minus 190. So I feel like you have to look under in this spot more often than not. Johnson said he wants to come out and make a splash. We've seen him start fast before. We've seen him wing big, powerful hooks before. That's kind of what he does. Cody usually starts fast. We saw him start fast in his last fight, and he actually did pretty well in round 1, surprisingly enough. But with him coming from that last fight where he got finished in the second round, quick turnaround, probably last one on his card, I doubt the UFC is going to let him come back unless he has a huge win in this fight. So he's got to go balls to the wall in the first round again of this fight. So I think under 1.5 just makes a ton of sense. It's all going to come down to, we're going to find out what Dante Johnson really is. Now, in Dante's first UFC fight, he beat Cedric Dumas. And I know that's a very low bar. I understand this, okay? But Cody Brundage lost to Cedric Dumas. So MMA math doesn't work, but you've got a guy who's got potentially very high upside, and he's already passed the first hurdle getting into the UFC, and he looked good doing it. He went to the second round for the first time in his entire career, and he submitted a guy who's had a bunch of UFC fights. That, in my opinion, is all you need to be able to beat a guy like Cody Durden. I think Dante Johnson is going to absolutely smash in this spot. Dante Johnson round 1 is plus 100. The under 1.5 is minus 190. If you want to get crazy, Cody Brundage round 1, KO, TKO, or DQ. We always talk about it. You must include the DQ. Don't do this on FanDuel. Make sure you're on a site like a MGM or a DraftKings that includes the DQ for you. That's 20-1. If you have the shot at 20-1, Cody can do something stupid here and get disqualified in the first round, and maybe you'll cash that ticket. That's your lotto scratch spot for the week. But I think it's Dante Johnson, and I think it's Dante Johnson round 1. I also think it's the KO. Cody likes to turtle up and just shell up and try to protect himself as best he can without actually letting his opponent touch him. The ref is going to step in and save him at some point. But even though Dante Johnson is coming off getting his first ever submission victory, that's not normally his bag. I think he took it because it was there. You know what I mean? So we like KO. We like Lockjaw. Hopefully it's the beginning of an exciting career for him, and we probably have to say adieu to Cody Brundage. Thank you for all the amazing fights. Next up, we got some big boys. We have got Gregory Rodriguez and Bruno Ferrara. And look at the size difference between these two guys. Now, this is a rematch, you guys. Okay, real quick. Domo, he says, who the fuck mentions a DQ? I cashed 20-1 on Cody Brundage, you guys. I cashed the disqualification on Cody Brundage. So yes, Domo, you may say that is very weird, but the fact is, in certain situations, you've got to look at it from all angles. Cody Brundage has had a disqualification already. He was the victor, and he had not one but 2 fights that have been sketchy because of what he does. He had a no contest because Dana White said, we're not letting that be a DQ. They made it a no contest instead. And then he had a fight go to a draw for a deducted point. So I know it's weird, but trust me, there's a method to the madness. And I personally have cashed a 20-1 ticket on this exact guy because I had DQ in the name of the slip and not just KO TKO. So I'm just trying to be helpful. Back to the fight. This is a rematch, you guys. And it's one where, honestly, I've not given Bruno his due. His entire UFC career, I've never given this guy his due. I said it was a fluke the way he caught Gregory Rodriguez. He's got crazy power. He's got judo hips. And his striking isn't that bad. The other thing you guys have got to know and understand he is in the best shape of his life for this rematch. My God, I don't have the side-by-side for you, but if you guys could have seen him for his last fight or two, and then watch this guy when he is on the scale today, it is night and day difference. It is insane how jacked this kid is for this fight. He absolutely has some extra gear on him coming into this one. Now, Gregory always is on the good stuff. That guy is absolutely massive. He's jacked as it gets. But the thing with Gregory is he's got a bad chin. So he is an all-action fighter. He wants to come forward. He wants to swing heavies. We all talk about his jiu-jitsu credentials. He never wrestles. He just refuses to. He's been knocked out 4 times. 3 of those knockouts come in the first round, you guys. This is another one where I looked at this fight and I went, I think I'm picking Gregory, but I couldn't get to it. He was like a minus 215, minus 220 favorite. You guys, it's been a landslide of money on Bruno Ferreira in this fight. It's been a landslide of money on Bruno. And after seeing the kind of shape he's in, I'm kind of tempted to go that way myself because this is his Super Bowl. He took this fight extremely seriously. Him and Gregory have been talking shit all week. They've been jawing back and forth at each other. They're jawing at the weigh-ins when they get close to each other. And hey, I don't want to spoil it. You guys need to go watch the Sharp Action report that I did with my man John Murray from Superbook Sports. It's right here and under the live tab on the channel. You can hear where the Sharp and Public Action is at Superbook for each fight on the board. He said very specifically that one of their sharpest MMA bettors came in this week and they locked in on Bruno Ferreira. And that's why this line is dropping so drastically. One of their most successful, sharpest UFC bettors is on Bruno. Now, he got a much better number, right? Obviously, this number's been coming down literally all week, but this could be one of those any plus money is good money type of situations. And if you want to flip this thing on its head a little bit, if you missed out on the early money on Bruno, his KO prop is plus 240. So if you don't like the money line at plus 130, which is understandable because how does he win a 15-minute decision? Frankly, I'm not sure. Is he submitting Gregory? I mean, he's a black belt and he armbars a couple people, but are you really armbarring Gregory? I don't think so. The KO prop is plus 240. That is down 10 cents, by the way, from the plus 250 it was earlier this week. So if we're, big card tinfoil hat appearance, you guys, it is down 10 cents from what it was earlier in the week. So the bookies have either taken action or have taken notice, and that KO prop is getting a little bit lower. They're going to make sure you don't get that full plus 250 value on that bad boy. So make sure you are hunting for the best number. But that's something that has me leaning towards the Bruno side of things. This is all hairs on the back of my neck, the gut feeling in my stomach that if I go back with Gregory Rodriguez at minus 200, he's just going to get flatlined again. And I was holding that ticket the last time they fought as well. So I unfortunately am a victim and I don't really feel like doing that again. Now, I will tell you guys, I have to apologize. I got a little ahead of myself. We missed a fight. So we got to go backwards here real quick. We have got Cody Garbrandt taking on Xiao Long in this next fight. And these two sized up really, really well. Nobody really had a hard time on the scales or anything like that I was able to notice. I just can't trust either of them, you guys. This is such a tough fight. Long Xiao is minus 155. Cody Garbrandt is plus 130, the underdog. He is miles away the better striker. He is miles away the more talented human being. He held UFC gold at one point. He can wrestle. He's fast. He's got hands. But the durability, he's got an absolute glass chin. And his cardio doesn't seem to be doing all that well these days either. And the wrestling, he's getting out hustled by guys who are on the retirement path from a weight class below him. So where is the upside? I truly believe that Cody Garbrandt is just showing up for a paycheck at this point in his career. He is 2-2 in his last 4 fights. The wins are coming over guys who are on the regional scene or retired at this point. Those are the only people that he seems capable of beating in the year of our Lord 2026. So can Long Xiao beat him then? Honestly, I don't know that Long Xiao is UFC caliber either, you guys. 27-10. He's 27 years old. This guy's been knocked out 3 times already. So if there's ever a chance for Cody to knock somebody out, this is probably the guy. He's coming from road to UFC. Again, trash. He's 1-2 in the UFC so far. He had a massive comeback win over Quang Lee, which is the one win that he got under his belt. Quang Lee is 34 years old, and he only has one UFC win himself. So it's not a very impressive win. And then he's been fighting other road to UFC lower level types of guys. So this is the kind of spot where Cody could come in here and just show that there's absolute levels to this shit. It's also the kind of fight where Cody Garbrandt could look really, really good for like 12 minutes and then just get bopped. This guy goes crazy. He's throwing spinning stuff. He's charging across the cage. He's throwing flying knees. Like, he's doing whatever he can to touch you and hurt you. And I think that's why he's the favorite. This line just stinks of they don't think Cody Garbrandt's got it. You know what I mean? And I kind of understand it, you guys. I really kind of do. Michael in the chat says, Garbrandt has been trying to wrestle more, and Long was getting taken down on the road to UFC. 2+ takedowns is plus 255. I don't mind that. That is a nice, sharp look, my friend. Thank you very much for popping up and sharing that with the chat, because that is a beautiful way to approach this fight. If Cody Garbrandt comes out wrestling early in this fight, he can easily hit 2 takedowns. And then you don't have to worry about him dying the rest of the fight, right? Like, he could absolutely get iced in the second or the third round, and you've already got the money jingling in your pocket. That's a beautiful look, and that's why we love the chat on this show. Thank you for sharing that, my friend. That is gorgeous. All right, guys, next up, Drew Dober takes on Michael Johnson. 156 for Drew Dober, 155.5 for Michael Johnson. This was my first action of the week, you guys, and I'm very, very, very nervous about it because I saw this number and I jumped. I was like, Drew Dober for me. MJ is a guy who I've never trusted. MJ on the hero career path at the end of his run here at the UFC. He's fighting absolute bums at 39 years old. He is still fast. Turns out Daniel Zellhuber sucks. Like, he's not beating anybody relevant. And so when I saw that Drew Dober was an underdog to this man, I jumped in. This is the Link Memorial dog of the week, is Drew Dober. And you can still get plus money on him in some places. Now, that is starting to flip. They're starting to charge you. I'm seeing like minus 102s and minus 105s pop up. So it does make me feel better that the line at least is respective of the fact that I think Drew Dober shouldn't be an underdog in this spot, right? Yeah, I understand, Michael. I understand leaving this one alone. Absolutely. This is probably one you can just enjoy from the sidelines, but I thought any plus money was good money on Drew Dober here, you guys. Yes, Michael Johnson's going to be faster, but Drew Dober hits harder, and I think Drew Dober's got a bigger toolkit than Michael Johnson does. So that's what really swung me here. I took the plus money. I think even if Michael Johnson wins 7-8 minutes of this fight, he's still live to just get flatlined by Drew Dober. We've seen that before. Diego did that to him. Thiago Moises did that to him. Josh Emmett did that to him. He lost a split decision not too long ago to Jamie Malarkey, by the way, which Jamie is serviceable, but he's not that guy either. You know what I mean? I think we are seeing some recency bias. MJ flying a little bit high because of his level of competition. And this is a shunning of Drew Dober because he got beat by a couple of guys who have got serious power in their hands. And yeah, I will fully admit, the Kyle Prepelic fight did not look good his last time out, but Kyle is not a bad fighter. I will just go ahead and make note of that. Kyle is not a bad fighter. So I think this is recency bias. It is a close fight. I took the plus money. That's my dog of the week. Some very sharp action on the other side of me on this one. This feels like I might be on the public side, which usually is the wrong side, hoping the blind squirrel finds a nut here on this one, and I can cash my dog of the week. I'm hoping Drew Dober lands that KO. I do just want to say real quick, though, when I posted that pick, I got a lot of comments, and I got a lot of like memes, and I got a lot of people calling me racist and stuff, and I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And then I discovered the racially motivated Drew Dober meme at that point. And while I thought that was kind of funny, if you guys haven't gotten in on the joke, Drew Dober really only beats people who aren't white. And that's what's happened over the last couple of years of his career. They actually kind of addressed it. He went up to Michael Johnson. Somebody caught this on video that he went up to Michael Johnson to like clear the air because he was like, I hate this. I don't like that. It's not funny to me. I don't feel that way. And he like apologized. Apparently his niece, people are like making fun of him to his niece on the playground and like talking about how her uncle's racist and shit like that. And that just hit me right in the heart, man. So I didn't realize that was the joke. I did laugh at it because I thought it was funny. When you look at his record, it you know, it makes sense. But I also love seeing a legitimately good dude. You know, he was a cool guy. He walked up to his opponent. He made peace. He cleared the air. You know, who knows if Michael Johnson even thought anything of it. But I respect a man like Drew Dober that can just be like, look, that's not me. That has nothing to do with me. And I love respectful fighters. You know, I know they're going to go in there and try and take each other's heads off and make each other bleed on Saturday. But there's a way that you can do that without being the enemy. You know what I mean? So all respect to Drew Dober. I'm sorry. I was just thinking about that before I had to kind of get it off my chest here. Next fight on the docket, though, we have got Rob Font taking on Raul Rosas Jr. They size up very well, as you guys can see. Rob Font is not a small man. Now, when you get the zoomed out view of this, when you get the camera view from like the crowd perspective here, I think Raul Rosas looks like he is ever so slightly a little bit more physical, like in the shoulders and in the back, which makes perfect sense. He's a lifelong grappler. That's what this kid does. He is the youngest fighter in the UFC. He might not be anymore, but he was. And he's probably going to be the youngest champion we've ever had in the UFC. At least that is the goal. That's what they're hunting. That's what they're looking for. He's 21 years old. And I love the attitude. I love how he's gunning for it. I love the way he's trying to improve. I love that he's taking people out on the way up. He's been through some adversity. Vince Morales almost tapped him out, but he dug deep and he got through it. Like, these are all things a young kid's got to learn, and he's all doing it at the highest level. He's trial by fire in the UFC. So I've got nothing but respect for Raul Rosas Jr. and what he's done. Rob Font, 38 years old, he has abandoned the New England cartel, and he's up at TriStar. So he moved out up to TriStar to work on his grappling. And I will say it has looked a little bit better recently, you know, beating guys like Gene Matsumoto and Kyler Phillips, getting taken down early and then coming back in those fights to whoop on those guys. You know, I watched the Corey Sandhagen and the Davis and Figueiredo fights. I cashed massively on both of those. I was not expecting him to improve the way he did. I never thought he was going to have a career resurgence. I called him dead. I buried him. I was done with him after those two. But he's really showed he's got some fight left. This is a savvy veteran who's doing what it takes to stay around in the game, who's making the adjustments, who's getting new coaches, who's shaking things up. So all respect to Rob Font. I just think this is a fight that is being set up for a purpose, you guys. I do think that Raul Rosas Jr. is going to do exactly what he needs to do to Rob Font in this spot. I think he'll be able to get the takedowns, and I don't think he's going to have a hard time racing Rob Font to the next position. That's kind of the biggest thing here for me. If you go back and you watch the Corey Sandhagen fight, which, mind you, some people don't remember, the Corey Sandhagen fight, Corey was injured. He broke his hand in that fight, and he still managed to out-hustle Rob Font. And I think that's something that Raul Rosas Jr. can do. He's a very good wrestler. And then when it comes to the jiu-jitsu, beating people to the next spot is something that he is developing and getting better at. I think he'll just win these scrambles. I think he'll just be able to ground Rob Font and keep him on his back and stay ahead of him one step at a time. And then whether he gets a finish or wins via decision, I'm not entirely sure. That's the part I'm trying to figure out. I told you guys I think it's a decision on Monday. And when I went over the props show, I think it's a decision. But here's the thing. If he wins inside the distance, I actually don't think it's going to be a sub, you guys. I think he's going to knock Rob Font out. I think he's going to ground and pound Rob Font. Font has taken so much damage. At this point in his life, he's working really hard on the jiu-jitsu aspect of things. He's working on the wrestling aspect of things. But if he's 38 years old and it's the end of the second round and he can't get up out from under this kid and Raul gets his back, like, is he going to go for a choke or is he just going to start pounding? I could see the ref having to step in and save Rob Font this week, you guys. I kind of get just in my plums the vibe that it's not going to be a one-hitter quitter from Rosas, but it'll be like a ground and pound whirlwind, very similar to what Tetsuro Taira did to Brandon Moreno. And I think he actually gets a big old TKO finish and lights everyone on fire this week. So I like Raul Rosas Jr. I am probably going to be parlaying him up at some point. The nice thing about him is you can always pull that ripcord of a live bet. If he does start to gas out, if he does start to get tired, if he does start to slow down, you can always dive in live on Rob Font. There is nothing stopping you from jumping in live on Rob Font and saving your money. So I love that about this fight, because Rosas will get the respect on the betting line, even live in the fight. Unless he starts like stumbling around the cage and slurring his words after taking shots, he will still be a big favorite. You'll be able to get a good live number on Rob Font. My guy Ryan said, we drinking out here. Cheers, my friend. What's going on? And thank you all for being here. We're closing in on 300 live viewers, you guys. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. Let's talk about these last couple of fights. Your co-main event of the evening, Xiao Bralo and Reiner de Ridder. 186 for Xiao, 185 and a half. Reiner de Ridder. Guys, Reiner is massive. Reiner is huge. Look at these guys face off. And on top of that, Reiner looked like death on the scales the last couple of times he's come in for a UFC fight. He didn't look like himself. He looked soft. He looked weak. He looked like he just wanted to get out of there. He was all smiles today. I've never seen him in as good of shape as he is for this fight. I've never seen him have the kind of abs he had in this fight. He is in insane shape coming into this spot. And I think that's because he's embarrassed. I think that's because of all the memes and the jokes. I think that's because we all saw him quit on the stool. He worked himself literally to death and got nothing for it. Everyone mocked him for it in the end. So now I think he's coming here to prove a point in this spot. I have always been on team RDR, you guys. I have bet him literally every step of the way. I lost money with RDR in his last fight against Brendan Allen. And this week on the podcast, I teed it up like I was going to bet RDR again, and I was just going to crack that thing out of the No, I pulled the rug on everybody, and I predicted Xiao Bralo by decision. But as this week has gone on, as this week has dragged towards fight day, and I've seen this number from RDR trickle from plus 140 down to plus 210 down to plus 205, the world is on Xiao, and for some reason, the number is closing right now. And then I see my boy in the best shape of his life. And then I see these guys face off, and he's massive. I got to be honest with you guys. I have never been overly impressed with Xiao Bralo. He's 33 years old. He's a generalist. He's very good everywhere. He's got good jiu-jitsu. If you were weak in jiu-jitsu like Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, he can submit you. He's got good striking. If you have no chin like Paul Craig, he can knock you out. But if you're also good everywhere, he can't do shit. Every other fight in the UFC he's gone to has been a decision, you guys. He's not a finisher. He's not a guy that's got crazy power that's going to scare you. You know, in the Jared Cannonier fight, he was busted up. He had big old face swelling. He was bleeding all over the place. He got his ass whooped by Jared Cannonier. He got handled by Nasruddin Imavov. And then if you go all the way back to when he fought Mahmoud Muradov, it was like his third or fourth fight in the UFC. I refuse. I'm a dog on a bone. I refuse to let this one go. He lost that fight, you guys. He lost that fight. He got reversed. He got swept. He was getting beaten by a guy who was endorsed by Mayweather, a guy who's supposed to be a striker. I don't think Xiao is as good as some of his Fighting Nerds counterparts. And considering the line is massively wide, I've never been overly impressed with Xiao, and seeing my boy come in the shape that he's in, we are pulling the ripcord, you guys. We are pulling the ripcord. We are flipping on a dime. We are changing the pick, and I am going to end up pulling the trigger on my boy, Reiner de Ridder. I will go down with the ship. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I'm doing it. I'm going to go down with the ship. I'm going to bet plus 200 Xiao or RDR in this fight. If I lose 2 in a row, that'll be the end of the game. That'll be what does it. That'll be the nail in the coffin. But if he bounces back and cashes for me as a plus 200 and we are right back on the plus money train with my boy, we're just going to ride Reiner de Ridder to the bank, you guys. We're just Reiner never die. We're just going to keep on doing the damn thing, and we're going to try and win as much money as we can with this guy before he gets until he gets a title shot or retires. We're just doing it. We're just doing it. This is not gambling advice. As always, you guys, I will tell you what I am betting. That by no means is something that you have to tail me on. Michael, my friend, I do have balls. And you know what they always remind me is that you always trust your balls. When your balls tell you something, you do not leave them alone and cold in your wife's purse. You pull them out, you reclaim them, you put them on the table, and you take what your soul tells you is true. Sometimes sports betting is not about the X's and O's and the numbers, and sometimes it's about those little hairs on the back of your neck and the size of the cojones in your jorts. And I'm going to pull them out, and I'm going to put it on Reiner de Ritter tomorrow. I've already got a dog of the week. That's Drew Dober. So, you know, it's one of those spots where RDR has been a multi-time dog of the week. Maybe he should have been granted the ceremonial Link Memorial Dog of the Week, but he's not this week. That's Drew Dober, but he will be one of my dogs. I will be pulling the trigger. Colby, my friend, what's up? Welcome to the show. You're just in time for the main event, my friend. 155.5 for Max Holloway, 156 for Charles Dubronx Oliveira. Stack shouting out everybody in the chat. Appreciate you, my guy. This fight is nuts, you guys. BMF title on the line. Max Holloway minus 220, your favorite. Charles Oliveira plus 170. There is not a lot that needs to be said. We've all talked about this fight. Experts have weighed in. These guys have been around forever. That's the reason they're fighting for the BMF in the first place. Everybody knows who these guys are. Everybody knows what these guys are capable of. Max is a great boxer. Stylistically, he's gotten better defensively recently to protect that chin. He's been cracked a couple times. We know that durability is waning a little bit. He hasn't fought a serious grappler before. Charles Oliveira is a murderer. He wants to walk forward, chop you down like a tree. And if he gets an opportunity to scramble with you, he will take your back and he will choke you out. He's the most violent finisher in UFC history. I love this fight. I love this fight so much, and it makes it really tough for me betting, you guys. I know the world is on Max Holloway. I do think that there is some recency bias to that because him, you know, doing the point to the floor and winning by knockout the way he did in the last BMF title fight. I think that's stuck in a lot of people's heads. So he's a big favorite in this spot, and I get it. Charles Oliveira is someone who I don't think should ever be disrespected, and that's where I think this is dog or pass. Plus 170 on Dubronx. Like, I know I've ragged on Charles Oliveira about being a little bit chinny. I've ragged on him about getting finished. But realistically, you guys, I thought he won the fight with Arman Tsarukyan. I really did. He lost via split decision that night. So he went to the limit with a guy like Arman. He got knocked out by Ilya Taporia. He got submitted by Islam Makhachev. Who else? If your name is not Islam, if your name is not Ilya, you're getting smoked by Charles Oliveira. And his last fight against Mateusz Gamrot, he walked through that man. It was disrespectful. Mateusz didn't do a damn thing to Charles. Charles put his hands down and let this guy punch him in the face, and he walked forward and kicked him in the gut and then took his back and choked him out. It was embarrassing. Like, this guy still got it. He's incredibly dangerous, and I think they're going to car crash, you guys. I know everyone wants to see that moment in round 5 again where Max points to the floor. I wouldn't be shocked if Max pulls that shit in the second. I wouldn't be shocked if Max goes, we are both getting way too hammered in here. We are not going to last 25 minutes. I think this is an extremely violent fight. I was surprised earlier in the week when the 2.5 number over 2.5 was like minus 175 or something like that. I didn't understand it. The under 2.5 was very good juicy plus money. And guys, I should have jumped. I should have taken it. Right now, the over 2.5 is minus 145. The under 2.5 plus 115. I think we just sit back, relax, enjoy, and root for violence. I'm going to parlay the fight doesn't go the distance. Doesn't go is minus 225, you guys. That is ripe for a 2-leg parlay. If you can find anything else on the board near that 200 ballpark, which there's a lot of this week, you will be able to just sit back, watch this fight, enjoy these two beating the hell out of each other, and try not to worry, because I have a real hard time seeing this thing make it the distance. Because even if we do get to round 5, Max is doing this shit. Eventually, they're going to car crash in the center of the cage and see who walks away. I don't think we are getting 25 minutes in this fight, you guys. Thank you all so much for joining me for UFC 326. That is the Undefeated post weigh-in show. I appreciate you and everyone for hanging out. We got over 300 of you live across all platforms. Please hit that like button, hit subscribe. We do this every single week. This is the best place to come and hang out and talk sports, MMA, and gambling, guys. What I like on this card, running it back rapid fire real quick here for you, okay? The only bet that I've made is Drew Dober, but I'm interested in a couple other spots. I like Luke Fernandez. I kind of like that over 1.5. We talked about that. I lean towards Rafael Tobias via sub. I lean towards Sumajiri via decision. I think I like Jargal, but it's a live bet, you guys. It's a live bet. I don't like the Tersios fight at all. Dante Johnson, round 1. No shock. I'm probably passing on Cody Garbrandt and Long Xiao. I might be talked into Bruno Ferrara. I'm probably going to have a taste of his KO prop. The under 1.5 might be an okay play in that spot as well. I like Raul Rosas Jr. I will probably be parlaying Raul Rosas Jr. with Max Holloway. Charles Oliveira does not go the distance. And that nice little two-legger is minus 103. So not quite even money, but close. And finally, I have turned full on 180, headed the other direction, and we are not betraying our boy, Reiner de Ritter. We'll lock in on RDR. We'll have another big dog going into UFC 326. Good luck this week, everybody. I hope you absolutely smash this card. This is going to be an epic one for us to watch. I hope you make piles of money, and then I hope you join me on Monday next week, where we will have another awesome live guest, and we'll be breaking down next week's fight card from a betting perspective. Nothing but love, you guys. Go out there, whoop some ass. We'll talk tomorrow. We'll talk soon. Love you guys. Let's roll.